Welcome to Seriously Uncork Yourself. I am your host, Lynn Kuhn, and this is a podcast that brings to you a firsthand look at what it seriously means to meet people where they are in their life. Enjoy the experience from illusions to reality. Find out what it is to restore to high performance, renew your freedoms, and rejuvenate playfulness. I can't wait to share with you my experience and the experiences of many others in hopes that you feel inspired to renew yourself and live your best life. Thanks for listening. Now let's get started. I am so thrilled today to have Angela Brooks as my special guest. Angela is an author, blogger, social media connector. And as Angela says, she is a mama who built a big business on her lunch break, and that she did. Angela has built a six-figure business part-time by blogging and using social media. She was able to retire after 30 years of nursing to work full-time. How cool is that? Ooh, gosh darn it. Anyway, hello, Angela.
Hello.
Having you here. Oh my gosh, this is just wonderful. So what I would like for you to do is if you could explain to our viewers how you got started with your journey and, then go to like where you are today. But first of all, give them a little bit more information about yourself.
Thank you, first of all, for inviting me to your summit. I appreciate that very much. My name is Angela Brooks. You can learn more about me over on the website. I won't go into great details, but I was a nurse in a psychiatric hospital, and I worked in the hospital for 25 and a half years, on the floor with the patients for 21, before I moved up to the education and training, where I was training the whole hospital nursing department. And when I moved up there, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get on day shift. I'm going to feel so much better. Things are going to be awesome. And I got to where I hated going to work. And so I knew what the last 21 years looked like. And I knew exactly what the next 21 would look like if I continued to stay in that atmosphere. Loved my job to a point. Loved and missed my patients a lot.
Absolutely.
That was probably the hardest thing I've ever walked away from. Is some of them that they were like family after a while, because they come in and out. But I also knew that the last 8 years that I had been employed with the state of Kentucky, we didn't get a raise. So I could make a decision to stay and do what I've been doing, or do something that would push me out the door. And I didn't see what happened. I didn't see what was going to happen in my future. It was just kind of like, it just started snowballing because I was very consistent. I wanted out.
Absolutely. And I love that story. And I can relate, with people and patients and, even with my own mom and, being, she has problems her whole life. And so taking care of her, and you build a relationship, and then but you do finally know when it's time. Going through a little bit of that myself right now. So this is
hard.
Great. Yeah. Listening to your story. So, okay. So then what happened then? So you started to do things on your lunch break. Mm-hmm. And then basically, how did you build?
Well, I started blogging because I love to write. I think that's fun. And basically, I was just telling stories. It was kind of like a stress relief thing. I was telling stories, and I thought nobody's going to believe me anyway because of some of the things that we saw and did. Yeah. And then I came across a company that I thought, well, I'll try it. I mean, it kind of matches what I do in nursing. And I didn't have a lot of time because, when I started this, I was working on night shift. I'd go in at 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I had 2 small kids at home. So I had to sleep somewhere. And that was usually about 2 to 3 hours a day max. Mm-hmm. So on my lunch break, we weren't supposed to sleep on our lunch break. So I had to do something to stay awake. So right. I took my phone and I was writing my blog in my note section, which back then was a BlackBerry, slow as Methuselah. And I started writing notes to myself so that when I got home, I could put it into a blog post. And then as I started getting people that were asking me about my product, then I was texting, emailing, um, if somebody was up during the night or
Mhm.
early morning, then I would make phone calls. But yeah, I had my 30-minute lunch break, 2 15s, and then sitting in the car while my kids were playing. My son was very active in baseball at the time. So those were the times that I had peace and quiet that I could actually work. And that's what I used. I did what I could, when I could.
Right. Okay. So the other question that I'd love to ask you is, I've seen you mention this 3-3-3 method and that you use on social media. Can you explain that?
Absolutely. I think in our world of social media, people forget that the like button and the comment button, they don't pay bills. You have to reach out and make a connection with
Mhm.
people. You could leave a comment, and then you have made, if that person's responding back to you, you've made a virtual friend. And in 3 days, you come back and say, hey, the other day we were talking, and I'm going to kick myself in the butt if I don't ask this. And I always follow up with that person to see if they're open to looking at what I have to offer. I don't tell them what it is. I keep that a secret until I see if they're open. If not, we just stay in touch, and then they start following you to see what you have going on, and that's where you keep your Facebook page updated and
Mhm.
current, so they can check you out.
Right. Absolutely. What would your suggestions be to that new entrepreneur? What would be something simple to tell them that they would need to in order to start a new business?
Well, the first thing I would not tell them to do is to start a blog. Everybody thinks that's what I'm going to tell them to do, and it's like, no, that is really a lot of work, and
Yeah, it
to stay
is.
current, and no, not blogging. But we have access to social media. And I tell all of my brand new members that come in and they think they want to work a business, I get them to reach out to 10 people every day. And when I say reach out, I don't mean to try to make a sale or it's not about a product. It is simply saying hello to a complete stranger. And some people freak out over that. Like, you're just having conversation. I just want you to get comfortable
Mhm.
talking to random people. And so that is the first thing that I get them to do, is to start talking to 10, or to go add 10 new people to their page so that you can start expanding your community, because you can't talk to the same 50 people and expect them to do anything.
Absolutely. And so what other suggestions do you have? I know that you do a lot on LinkedIn.
I do.
I know.
That is
And
fun.
you're absolutely wonderful. She is such a great teacher, you guys. Absolutely great. I mean, just great. You're phenomenal.
Well, LinkedIn is something I have always been on LinkedIn, but
Mhm.
until this past March, I really didn't see the value, because I was like everybody else, getting crappy comments, people trying to
Mhm.
cold sell you, and you're like, oh, this has to be better than that. So I started studying, and you're going to be shocked that when you're human and you talk to people on LinkedIn, they talk back to you.
Absolutely. Isn't that
But
great?
that was something that I do the same 10 people on LinkedIn. And I'm not on LinkedIn every single day. 2 to 3 days a week, because I don't want to just spend my life on social media. Um, but I reach out to 10 people. I start 10 conversations. I go comment on 10 different people's posts or like their posts. And then what do they automatically do? They go look at your profile. So
Mhm.
if your profiles are not set up so that people can learn about you, you're missing. It's like leaving money on the table. Because if they
Absolutely.
go and it's a blank page, they're not going to stay there.
Or the no pictures.
No, drives me crazy.
I
Trust
know,
me.
I don't even bother with no pictures if I can't see who it is, because we're all curious anyway, correct? You
Exactly.
want to know who you're going to be connecting with. And if there's no picture there, it's just like, forget that.
And if it's an old picture back when you was in high school and you was cute and the perfect weight, that's not a good picture either. I mean,
No,
just
it's
be real.
be yourself, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now let's reverse engineer this. So what would you suggest to somebody that's been in the business for quite a long time to maintain their business with keeping, and we'll get into a little bit family later, but for right now, just to keep it simple. what are some of the things that you have noticed since you're at that point? What do you do to keep your daily life simple? What do you do that every single day that you continue on to the next?
Content marketing.
Mm.
Absolutely. People want to work on social media, but they're not putting anything out there. And if you posted on Monday and you didn't post again until next Monday, people don't even know who you are.
Right.
The interwebs is all about content. You are putting in, when you go to Google, you're putting into the keywords what you want to look for. Say you want to make a pecan pie. You're going to put in pecan pie recipes, and that's what's going to come up. If
Mhm.
you're not on that page, people don't find you. So content marketing these days is podcasting and videos. And I challenged my own self
And
to
you did. You did.
100 days of videos. Oh my God.
You did so good.
That is the quickest way to get in front of people, is to push the red button,
Absolutely.
And
Hmm.
is it scary? Yes, but not once has anybody said anything nasty, or nobody's bit me. Nobody has, none of that. It's just I just feel like I'm talking to you right here is when I do a video.
Right. And that's what I've noticed too. It's just like, even with myself, I did do a lot of the live videos for quite a while. And then
Yes,
I
you
got
did.
sick. And so I didn't do much the last 6 months because I really couldn't. But now that things are getting back, I haven't personally started the live videos as much yet. They're coming.
Right.
But I chose to go ahead and do these interviews. Now the interviews on this end, that's a big open space out there that I have never explored. So it's different. And it's just like you said, you just got to go in there and just press record and just go and
Yeah.
go.
And when I did my summit, I was like you, I was nervous to do
Mhm.
interviews, but I
Mhm.
had so much fun.
I know.
And the people that I got to talk to was like, oh my gosh, why haven't I done this before? But yeah, just people
Absolutely.
like to get to know you. They like to hear your voice.
Mhm.
I'm kind of snarky, so they get to hear my sarcasm. And sometimes you can write things and people get all offended, but when they hear you in person, it's different. Your sarcasm is
Mhm.
different. Um,
It's
yeah, that has been a big challenge, and the results have in just 10 days. Oh my goodness, that's been so fun.
absolutely. I love it. I just love it. And so, okay, now the next question is that I would like for our viewers to hear is, okay, so now you went from full-time work, you
Mhm,
started blogging part-time, then you
mhm.
decide that you're going to go into full-time business. So how did you mix the family into all that? How did you work family in?
That was it's a challenge. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, your kids, literally my boys grew up in my office floor, and they knew that when I was sitting in front of the
Mhm.
computer, they just quietly played, right here, and I
Mhm.
was able to spin around and play with them for a while, and I'm like, let me finish writing this and then we'll go do something else. I did power hours. That was the only survival mode that I had, was to do, okay, mom's got to work for 1 hour or
Mhm.
30 minutes or 15, whatever it is. And then we're going to go cook supper, or then we'll go walk, or I've got 15 minutes and then we've got to get to ball practice. And they just understood. And I mean, my whole family has been fabulous. When I come in here and shut that door, nobody touches it. It's kind of like, don't open that door. Because you lose your focus, and then you're like, what was it I was saying? But if you leave me alone, I can get it done, and I'm open to whatever they need to do.
Absolutely, because I've been working with my husband a little bit more now too, and the same thing. And I'm just a random person, and we'll be sitting in the living room, and all of
Yes.
a sudden I'll say, "And this," and then he'll be just like, "Man, you just lost my train of thought," and I go, "Oh, that's right, you have those." I'm just so
Yes.
random, but
It's like beep,
it's like I'm just all
squirrel.
over the place. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all over the place all the time. That's really wonderful because I know that people are asking that all the time. It's like, how can we simplify something? How can we get
Yeah.
that balance? How can we balance working, especially from home? I think home is absolutely the way to go. It's wonderful, but it also has its own special challenges.
Yeah.
And so trying to mix the two, and even for myself, sometimes it gets tough. Just like my daughter Kelly today, she said about stopping over, and I go, "Don't come between 11 and 12." And she goes, "I don't know." She's pregnant. I don't know that I can wait that long to eat. I'm just like, just give me 11 to 12, please.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son's off today, and he had a haircut at 10, and he goes, now what time is your thing? I said 11, 11:30. What are you going to do? And he said, I guess I'll go walk around Walmart. And I said, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay, so before we close here, this has been just wonderful. I love all these tips. I love all the reality of this is what really happens. Is there anything else you would like to leave with our guests?
Absolutely. Consistency. I don't care what, if you're doing power hours or what it is you're doing for your business, consistency is everything. And the number one tip that I have heard across the board from every level of, I mean, I've got friends that are making 8 figures. I've got people that are making, $500 a month. Everybody says the same thing, is show up, because 95% of people will not even show up. They're thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, or this isn't happening fast enough. But if you'll show up long enough, this kind of stuff happens over time. It doesn't. I had a girl yesterday. She's going, oh, this is going to take me forever. And I'm like, well, you know what? 5 years is going to show up anyway. So you might as well be working on something. And then it just kind of snowballs. But you got to show up. You got to do the work. Nobody can do it for you.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. I love that. Thank you so much, Angela. And before we leave, I would like to say that on the bottom of this video, we're going to have the links to the Simplicity Summit and also to Angela's nice, wonderful, special gift. Do you want to talk about that too, just a little bit?
This is going to give you, I think there's 5 videos that you're going to get free that you can go in and watch. And I'm talking about power hours. I'm talking about some of the simple things on Facebook that you can do to get instant gratification, which people like. You can start getting leads today by doing the 333. Super, super simple.
Well, that's wonderful. Just so thankful that you got to come on today. And I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm sure viewers are going to be so excited. And I will go ahead and we'll be signing off. And I just want to once again thank you. I'm very grateful and honored that you got to come. Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome.
Love you. Thank you for tuning into the show. I hope this brought out your passions, ignited you, and inspired you to restart and reclaim your life. Please subscribe to my podcast and feel free to leave a rating and a review. Until the next episode of Seriously Uncork Yourself, you can check out more information at lynnkuhn.com. That's Lynn, L-Y-N-N, Kuhn, Kuhn.com. Be sure to tune in for my next episode. Sending you all peace and love until our next time together. Seriously Uncork Yourself.